you're a Vols fan, and we got to talk about Tennessee. So you know the crazy
Okay.
season that y'all had last year when y'all upset Alabama, y'all went on the road to Death Valley, clobbered LSU, you clobbered Kentucky, and then you had a really ugly ending. I mean, South Carolina snatched your soul. Not only did they end Hendon Hooker's Heisman dreams, but they pretty much kept them from getting drafted in the first round. And then, you had another loss after that one. It just kind of was, rough patch after rough patch. But then, you got a really good win against Clemson, right? And we got to
Mm-hmm.
saw Joe Milton when he was playing at his best. And when we look at Tennessee going into this year, man, what's the ceiling for the Vols this season? If everything goes right, how far do you think Tennessee will go this year? Do they win the SEC East, take down Georgia, make it to the SEC championship game, and win the SEC potentially against Alabama, LSU, or whoever else? Or do you think that's a little bit too high for Tennessee? You think they're not ready yet to be able to take down Georgia?
Well, we first of all, I would like to say we lost a lot of players during the draft, like Jalen Hylett, Chris Tillman, the wide receivers there. We lost a few defensive players, a few offensive players as well. But one thing Tennessee knows how to do is rebuild. And the right word is retool. I can say that much for Tennessee. I really think that we can actually beat Georgia. But the thing about it is we have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined to beat Georgia. LSU is kind of on that rise, but kind of on that slope as well. They like on a slippery slope of what they want to do. But I think Joe Milton is definitely going to take his game to the next level. I mean, he had 971 yards and 10 passing touchdowns with a 65 completion percentage. I think he takes that up a bit higher. Then you got Jalen Wright coming back as a running back. That guy had 875 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns himself. And I think we have one of the best offensive juggernauts, one of the best offenses in college football in itself. It's high pace. It gets the defense tired. And, having Jalen Wright and Jabari Small, having them come back. And we got some up and coming receivers like White. White is another one. Jackson Lampy, a good offensive lineman that we have coming back. So we have some good defense and offensive players coming back. But I really want us to be on that consistent basis of beating Alabama because we haven't beaten Alabama like 10 years into that time. So I really want us to be on a consistent basis of beating Alabama. And the SEC is going to be very tough. It's the best conference in college football. And, you got new teams coming in 2024. So I think Tennessee can bounce back. If Joe Milton can stay healthy and everybody can stay healthy and our offense can be just as potent as it was last season, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be good. I say we could probably won't win the division depending on how teams go because teams can be good all the way through and then you get that one game like we did in South Carolina. Boom, we fell flat. Hooker was already struggling before he got hurt. You just never know. But um, I can see us probably being a little bit outside of the playoff, like between about 5 or 6. If we can remain undefeated, then we could be in the top four. So I got like my realistic and my unrealistic. So I'm really excited for Tennessee's season this year. I really am.
How do you feel about the defense? Now, I feel like the defense gets a little bit of undeserved criticism at times because this defense has some really good performances, shutting down LSU on the road, Kentucky, and with how fast your offense is, I don't ever think that Tennessee's going to have a elite defense statistically. And I think that Tennessee fans got to understand that. I think you guys kind of already understand that, but non-Vols fans always seem to criticize the defense. But it's like when your defense is on the field for, so many plays with how fast tempo the offense is, of course, you're not really going to have a great defense unless you just have a lot of depth. But do you think this defense can make some improvements this year?
Yeah, I think you can make some improvements. I mean, it's going to take some time for everybody have that continuity. Like you got to understand, you got a new draft, you got a new recruiting class coming in, and then you got the veteran guys that's going to be juniors looking to try to get into the draft and try to get their draft stock up. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into play. We did lose Matthew Butler a couple years ago as far as the defensive line go, and we recoiled in that, and we was okay last year. We wasn't that bad, but we were bad, but we wasn't that bad. We were like one of the worst in the league. But I understand that the offense is going to be very fast. It's going to be very quick. So as a defense, you're going to have to get ready. There's no sitting down. You get your water, you stand up, you get ready, you make your a little bit of adjustments within those 5 or 10 seconds, or whatever how many times you see on our offense when it comes to time of possession, and get right back out there. So when it comes to these explosive offenses in the SEC, we have to keep up. That's simple as that. We have to keep up with these explosive offenses, because you're going to see a lot of no huddles. They're going to try to justify, not really justify, but try to duplicate what Tennessee does against our own defense. So at the end of the day, I think the defense can improve. Do I feel like we're going to be a top 10 defense? No, but can we be between the middle of the pack? I think we can, especially in the SEC.
Now you guys got a pretty tough schedule. It's not really easy.
Yeah.
You play Virginia week 1, which you should be able to win that game. They're one of the worst Power 5
Mhm.
schools in college football going into this year. Austin P. And then your schedule gets tough after your first 2 games. On the road against Florida in the Swamp. Then you got to play UTSA, which is a really, really good
Yeah.
G5 school. And they have a really good offense themselves and a really good quarterback also. So it's like, how do you feel you're going to do having to play, UTSA at home, then you got South Carolina at home, and then after the bye, I mean, you just faced an onslaught. Your next 3 games after the bye, Texas A&M, which I don't know how you're feeling about Texas A&M, but I think they're being slept on, and I'm really close to picking them to win the SEC West. And then back-to-back games on the road, Bama, Kentucky. How you feel you guys are going to be able to handle this schedule?
Just play our game. Just stay true to ourselves when it comes to this. Now, I think Virginia and Austin Peay, they could be the 2 teams that I know we're going to be 2-0 going into it. But we did beat Florida last year, so we know what Florida is capable of, and we beat them with Anthony Richardson being there last season. So I'm looking forward to that Florida game, because I know they're gonna want their rematch after we beat them last season. UTSA is one of those games that I'm really looking forward to in this season, because they're a very underrated team that doesn't get a lot of exposure. They get an exposure, but they don't get a lot of credit from the national look. South Carolina, I really want my look back with South Carolina. Texas A&M, that's the game. Texas A&M, Alabama, South Carolina is the 3 games I have circled on this schedule, because Alabama's going to want they look back from us. Texas A&M, I think that's going to be a great game. I can see that being a high scoring game, just like the Alabama game. South Carolina, I really want us to dominate South Carolina. I know they're a good football team. I know they are. They got a new coach. They got a new coaching staff. They got some players out of the transfer portal. But I like South Carolina, but I really want my lick back from them. Kentucky is definitely going to be a tough team that nobody's really talking about. I know Will Levis went to the draft, and he got drafted to Tennessee, but I Kentucky's going what they look back after we put a stomping on them last season too. So it's going to be very interesting to watch, and I'm looking forward to this schedule. I like a schedule that challenge Tennessee. And after we play Kentucky's, UConn, Missouri, Georgia, and then Vandy, it's gonna be very interesting to see what this schedule looks like. But we're not going to win all these games. I can tell you that right now. We're not going to win all these games. I don't know which game we're going to lose, because it's going to be one of those games that's going to be a trap game. I just feel it. One of these games is going to be a trap game, and I don't know which one is going to be. But I can see us, if about one. I'm gonna say one loss. One loss.
I really feel like people are sleeping on Kentucky. They got Devin Leary, who's a pretty good quarterback. But if you guys can,
Mhm.
beat South Carolina, beat Texas A&M, you lose to Alabama, but you handle business against Kentucky, and then you lose to Georgia. That's
Mhm.
2 losses. I probably feel like that's pretty realistic. I probably would have that as a ceiling for you guys, 10-2. I don't
Mhm.
know, if you guys can go 11-1. I think the schedule is just so tough with all the good teams that you have to play on the road. But I do think that, if I had to go with my best case scenario for you guys this season, I could see you guys winning 10 games again, having a similar season to what
Yeah,
you did last year. And if Joe Milton just plays out of this world like he definitely is capable of with that crazy ass arm, I mean, I don't see no reason why you guys
yeah.
can't be up there with Georgia being able to contend for the SEC East. But